Hey guys, welcome back to episode 2 of Producer Reacts. This is where I listen to your songs and I tell you why they suck, or maybe perhaps why they do not. In case you're new, my name's Brad. I am the producer here on the Halocene channel, and I do have a little bit of bad news, but we're all out of Xbox and PlayStation 4s and Nintendo Switches to give away.
But if you like, comment, and subscribe right now before the video gets started,
I will enter you in a chance to win a super high five from me. So, virtual high five. But if we mean in person, maybe a real one too. But without further ado, let's get started. First band of the day is called Then It Hit Me. They sent me a file called Chasing Ghosts. I'm going to assume that's the title of the song. So if it's your newest single, I'm going to assume that maybe it's not completely mixed yet, since the file is chantfix.mp3. So looks like you fixed those chants. I'll never know what they sounded like before. But without further ado, let me pull this bad boy up. We don't have a music video for it, but I will sync up something that I found on their YouTube channel, just so that we have a little bit of something to watch while we listen. Here we go. Okay, so it sounds like the band 4 Years Strong. I'm sure they're going for that. Let's keep listening. First, that's my first impression.
It's the sunrise, the first time I looked in your eyes. I
Well, they could, going back into that instrumental refrain so early with already a really long instrumental intro, probably a bad choice, I would say. They should have went into some type of a hook right there, or probably just the first chorus, maybe even a short chorus, followed by that intro refrain.
I waited for a brake light, who was gonna save my life? Once you were gone, so I said.
So I don't think that the mix is bad by any means. It's not good. It has there's a lot of things that they could do to touch up on.
Back and watch the sunrise, the last time that I looked in your eyes. I said,
you know, the guitars are fine. This is pretty standard for this type of punk rock music, the pop punk, especially with this guy's voice. He doesn't really have a high timbre or timbre to his voice or texture, so it doesn't naturally cut all that much. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but so you'll hear commonly guitars kind of mixed like this that aren't that bright, which is totally okay. But the vocals, I believe, could use a little bit of EQing, if not a lot of EQing, to bring out a little bit of brightness, so they cut through the mix a little bit more. So something that I don't like, assuming that this is the chorus, this is my first time going through it, they have now taken the vocals from the center focal point, and now it is exclusively on the left and right. And so what my brain is kind of focusing on now is just nothing that is happening in the middle. I'm just getting bass and drums, but everything else, guitars and all vocals, are on the side. If it was exclusively gang vocals, that might make sense, but it's just one vocal guy. So they put a scream in the center there. And see how those like big chants, rah, whatever the hell they said? That sounds good coming in from the sides. See, again, it's just stereo right there.
Let me go.
Y'all should consider maybe writing harmonies. It's because it's just like unison of the same dude.
The road was short, the nights were long.
I'm gonna guess this is Superior or Easy Drummer.
You didn't think my heart was strong, but here I am, parked outside of your.
The reason I can tell, I would be really surprised if it wasn't, is because very cookie cutter. There's nothing really that special about their toms. They sound kind of boxy to me, and a lot of bands in rock music overuse those VST drums.
House tonight, so don't let me go.
One thing that they do have really good sounding hi-hats though.
Be the one that you will always prove and fall apart with. I'm chasing ghosts.
I think the crashes could come up just barely. Or you could even automate your mixing of those crashes and maybe just on the ones, make those just a little bit louder, and then when you're riding on them, bring it down just a little bit. That way, when you change notes as a band together, it just has a little more bah, kick you right in the cojones.
Don't ever let me go.
Fake bass.
Don't let me go. I wanna be the one that you will always grow and fall apart with.
Okay, so real quick, just the end here. You could hear this if you get real close. This kind of like explosive kind of sounding. I don't know if that's an effect, but it sounds like it's more of they didn't fade out the end of that audio clip correctly. All right, well, let's sum it up. So we have Chasing Ghosts by the band Then It Hit Me. Not bad. Sounds like you guys are going for a 4-year strong thing. I would highly recommend getting into your chorus much sooner. I don't know what the rest of your other songs sound like, but you say this is your newest single, and for a single, I feel like it's a grave mistake to not get into your chorus sooner. If this wasn't a single, then I could, maybe see that there's more creative liberties, but I'm not the judge. I don't make the rules, But yeah, just go intro, verse, and then go into a quick little chorus, and then go into your intro. And it could be a short version of the chorus. One thing that 4-year strong has, they have really good bass tones. So I think that could also help the guitars. The guitars are kind of, I don't want to say lifeless. They are EQ'd in a way to let the vocals shine through, which I understand. And speaking of the vocals, that chorus effect coming in on only the sides and then only once in a blue, like an ad-lib in the center, should be the other way around, if anything. Well, it didn't sound like you had any harmonies in this. That's another thing. The song really could use some harmonies. But if you're even just doing unison like you guys are already doing on the sides, that's totally okay. Just get that center vocal there. Guitars and drums sound okay. The drums could be much more powerful. They're programmed and they sound like probably like your cookie cutter Superior Easy drummer or equivalent or something like that. They could be mixed better. The kick drum definitely needs to be beefier. Snare could be beefier as well. Everything else sounded okay, I suppose. Hi-hat sounded great. I grew up listening to punk rock, and this would be fun music to skateboard to. But on a production level, it needs a lot of work. As a band, you guys sound pretty good. Just keep working on your songwriting skills, and that basically comes down to structure. And I think with a good producer or mixing engineer, they can help you make a song like that be a little bit more presentable as a single that is a little more commercially viable. What the hell? There's band name. Not Chasing Ghosts. The song's called Chasing Ghosts. Then It Hit Me. There you go. So Then It Hit Me. The vocals. Okay, so moving along, we're gonna hop right into the next band. I'm gonna talk like that the whole time. Local Baltimore band, One Life to Lead. Let's check this out. Let's see if I can shake my fortune teller ball before I've ever heard it. Based off of the band's name, One Life to Lead, sounds like it's gonna be pop punk. Presented by One Life to Lead. All right. That guy, fast glance, that looks like he could be related to Dustin Kidsrew. Oh, the bass player. Okay, so we just reviewed another band that was very similar to this. The first band's drums could sound a little bit beefier, and I could use this band as a little bit of an example. Say how much more the snare and kick pop. For this genre of music, this isn't necessarily how I particularly like to mix drums, but I also haven't been doing punk or pop punk for quite a while. But this is a very popular way to mix the drums for this style of music. As you can tell, too, the guitars are mixed very similarly. So this song suffers from the same thing that the first song that we reviewed suffers from. It is 44 seconds, and we still haven't really even gotten to the song yet. You should really hop to it.
I never wanted a confrontation, and out of trouble, a complication, but these things happen all the time. A bad equation, manipulation, I'm losing patience, but these things happen. Always losing in this fight, I can't be losing.
Okay, so you guys do have some backing vocals there. They're really quiet. Those should definitely come out because they don't sound too bad, and you got a really good pop punk voice. Uh-oh. The drummer just broke the old forsaken rule. The only person in the band that's allowed to look into the camera when recording is the f***ing singer. What are you doing, dude? You gotta go. You have to go back and reshoot the video. Yeah, come on. Don't you know? Only the singer's allowed to look into the lens. I digress. Get it, Kendra, on bass. You know, for a little Baltimore band, you guys have done a great job with your music video. The reason why your music video doesn't suck is because you guys have a lot of variation. Your camera guys go to every edit is good. You guys have a lot of B-roll, like the river and the ocean, and you got a little story going on. So good job. Ooh, oh. Yeah, now you're speaking to me. Yes. So I had to wait 1:46 to get to this part. This part's badass. This is the punk that speaks to me. And no, not a lot of people like that. But this is so much more interesting than the intro was. So if you're gonna have a long intro, make it killer, you know, and interesting. Like just come out and like kick somebody in the nuts, like this part. Or if you're just saving it so that this part kicks in and it's even harder, that's good too. But don't make me wait 1:44. Come on, man. I was gonna say, I feel like the vocals could probably come up just a hair. I will say this, coming from a punk background, it's like we tend to shy away from like harmonies, like putting them too loud in the mix. It's almost like, oh no, good vocal harmonies and singing. Why would we ever want to put that in the forefront of things? Let the guitars and the drums kick you in the face. No, dude, you guys will learn. If you have a decent singer, you guys got a decent singer, put those vocals right up in people's faces. And when that chorus hits, man, let those harmonies come through nice and loud. I'm not a big fan of ooh-ohs, but this genre of music, basically, it's like in the DNA. It's like you almost have to have songs and have it like that. Oh yeah, followed by the typical, the telephone voice. I can't be losing you. With the, you know what I'm talking about. Very typical of pop punk. I don't know how old these cats are. They look like they're probably like 17. So if you guys are, you're better than I ever could have been at that age. Although I'm not sure. The dude with the mustache might be my age. I'm not sure. So I know I said the drums sound like, you know, they're nice and big and powerful. One thing that I don't like is when the kick drum sounds the exact same everywhere. Like the velocity is 120 is max velocity on your kick drum at all times. I'm not a big fan of that. Now I know when you're going like hard in the punk beat and the double time, that fast stuff like or halftime, you want it to sound nice and big. But now kind of slowing down, there's no reason for that kick drum to sound so boxy and super over compressed right here. It could be a little softer sounding. So that way when those other parts come in, they hit so much harder. But right now, listen to how like hard hitting this kick drum is. It's a little unnecessary and gratuitous. Knocking. This kick drum sounds like they're knocking on the wall, like in the same room you're in. One thing that I'm going to compliment you guys on, or your producer, whoever did this, is a lot of times bands neglect the fact that you can have different snare sounds on your record in the same song or different effects. And that is huge when you have a song that is just guitars, right? And you don't have like keys or synths or other dynamics. So what you want to do is to get different voicings with those. Like the guitars sound like they might be using just one patch for everything. I'm not too sure. But the drums, they have this little break beat. It's got a little distortion on it that sounds like a snare that's now a little like maybe more metallic sounding. And it's great. It's a nice change of pace for the ears. So when you go back in, it's just like cleanses the palate a bit rather than listening to the same like sound, same sound over and over again. Turn those harmonies up just a little bit. Good bass tone, dude. I'm super stoked to see that like pop punk is totally not dead, and you guys are keeping it alive. Good job. All right, gentlemen. Good job. So your music does not suck, okay? You have a bright future ahead of you if you stick with it. But this is a very difficult genre to succeed in just because of the music climate these days. Stick with it. I bet your shows are a lot of fun. Anyway, those are the two songs we have reviewed today. Both pop punk, both very four-year strongy, both not too shabby, both have some areas to improve on for sure. Both bands don't shy away from putting more harmonies, especially the first band doing any harmonies at all. And the second band, just making them louder in your songs. Because pop punk, it's just a genre that is a hell of a lot of fun to sing along. It's a hell of a lot of fun for like road trips and things like that. And don't underestimate the power of the vocal. I know like you feel like it's the guitars and the drums that really like get people moving, but it's the vocals that are going to sell records. So at any rate, again, my name is Brad. You can call me Producer Brad. I am from the band Halocene, and I will see you later. If you want me to review your music, go ahead and send me your songs, preferably in video format, so that we have something to watch, to producer.reacts@gmail.com. Again, that's producer.reacts@gmail.com, and we will see you next time.